you getting yourself ready for our show?
Everybody, it's Jigs and Bigs. It's another Tuesday morning. We got a great show for you this week. This one's going to be really interesting. On Instagram this week, I shared some info about losing lures, kind of making jokes. I got jokes. I got friggin' jokes about losing lures, but we wanted to talk about losing baits, the differences that I've noticed, that I've dealt with. You know, we want to talk about some of the things that we can do to kind of limit that. It's going to carry over, actually, into Just the Tip for you guys this week. We have a couple of things that we're going to do as far as reviewing the week. We got some prep stuff to go over. Sean's going to be talking about, as well as some nerd stuff potentially. We always like talking nerd stuff here. We also have a amazing FTG. This one comes from Ryan the Butcher Bogley, and he's got a story to tell. He's got a story to tell. We got this message and we were enraged. I'm curious how you guys all feel. We got that and a whole lot more coming up, guys. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss a second of this show. Do yourselves a favor, guys. Go ahead, get yourselves a nice cup of coffee, maybe something wonderfully delicious to enjoy while you check out this Tuesday extravaganza for you. It's Bobby Roast Beef and Sean the Fisherman, Jigs and Bigs. We got more coming up right after this. Hey, how's everybody doing there? I'm kind of making a face right now. If you're one of our patrons and you're watching this whole early feed here on YouTube, you're seeing my face here. Loaded Potato jumps in and he leaves a comment that says Irish goodbye, which is odd because this week I had a team at trivia that had a challenge to do and they were called Irish goodbye. And I had never heard that phrase before. It's like, what's this all about? Ladies?
To the Googles.
To the Googles we go. To the Urban Dictionary we go. That's always fun stuff. Sean, how are you today, buddy?
I'm feeling okay, my friend.
Yeah?
I didn't get a lot of fishing in this week, but there were some fishing-related activities which we'll be sure to talk about.
That's good. That's good. Oh, that's a Loaded Potato says, it's when you leave without saying goodbye. Yeah, that's kind of, that's common. I feel like, honestly, I kind of had a similar week. I got out a couple of times. One of those times was a pretty decent little send with Paul, but I had a whole plan for this body of water we were going to go to. We get there, and it was just boat trailers all over the place. Nowhere to park, and I'm like, God, son of a bitch. So we made a call on going to a different body of water and ended up having an okay day. I mean, especially considering that I haven't fished there since I was a kid. Like when I say a kid, like I was probably 12, 13 years old the last time I fished there. I used to ice fish there, all kinds of stuff. Never caught squat other than some bullhead. That was really it. But this place has a reputation for just having giant bass. So I'm not going to complain about that. Did we have a new moon like within the last week or so?
Stand by. Keep talking. Buy me time.
I'm curious about that because I did get out. There were two quick trips. One was totally fruitless, actually. And then the other one, and it was a quick one too, but the other one was pretty good. It was short. I mean, it was about like an hour and a half, and I caught a couple, and they were not terrible. I mean, they were okay. But it was like I threw all kinds of stuff. No, that's right. These were the lipless fish that I had caught. The two that I
fish
caught
with no lips.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they had no lips. No, I caught them on the Snatch 70s, and this was actually it was that outing that kind of spurred what we're going to be talking about in our hot topic today, because I was throwing around this really just awesome looking Snatch 70X, and it was nice natural bluegill color, like great pattern. And I'm throwing that around, and I caught 2, and then I was looking for some more, and I got hung up, and I broke off. There's this one little brush pile with some like real heavy limbs on it, and I think I catch this a little bit too often because I've caught fish right near it before, so like I know it produces. And it's just, I mean, you throw a lipless crank into something like that, and you're gambling. You're kind of gambling, especially when you're bank fishing. So I had thrown that, and then I switched the pattern up to other stuff that looked very similar, and I was getting hits on everything that was within that color palette. Switched to a spinnerbait next. I figured I'd give that a gamble. Because I'm looking to try to like get bit on a spinnerbait and try and build a little bit of confidence there. So, but I happen to have one in that same kind of a little bit of chartreuse in it, a little orange, greens and browns, and I decided I'd throw that. Got a couple of bumps on that. Got hung up. Because I was using a trailer hook. I'm sure that got caught on something. Broke that guy off, and then I switched to a chatterbait and was using that. It was same color pattern. Same natural kind of color pattern, and I was getting taps on that as well. And I think if I didn't run out of time, because I think I got a phone call from the boss about a delivery, grocery delivery. Yeah, so I'd head back in and handle that. That's what I do. I'm Department of Receiving in this house. That's what I do. And courier, and receiving. Can you imagine that shit? Not even union. Fuck that.
Right back to 1995. You're unloading trucks at Bernie's, except it's at your own house.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing. And Wednesday the 6th was our last new moon. So
that was the day.
Yep. I love those new moon hangovers. Sometimes you'll find them like 2-3 days after a new moon. They're still biting like it's a new moon. Sometimes it doesn't seem to hit the fish. But I
take that back. Wednesday the 6th was the new moon. I think there was this one spot that's produced some smallies before I was fishing, and it's near a marina. And they were removing the docks. They were removing all the slips and shit. And I think that might have stirred up the activity, and they were not nearby. So the 6th, I didn't get on any, but I got on a couple on the 7th. And then I headed out and got on. I missed one that kind of sucked on Saturday, this past Saturday. But I hit one in Paul. Oh, my God. Let's talk about Paul for a second. The motherfucking Polish hammer. This dude goes out in his kayak and he's working this bank. And this is what's funny is at this body of water, there's a family that I've known for years, and they have a house right on the lake. They live there full time, I think now. And so they're over there, and I'm like, no shit. I'm like, I've been looking at this point forever. Like I'd go over there and we'd be, fishing off the dock, or when it was frozen, we'd be, go out and ice fish. And I'm like, holy shit, I wonder, Paul gets this, what could have potentially been a new PB, and dude didn't have his measuring board on him.
Ooh.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I got a text from him because I was working a weed line much further away from him. I didn't even know he had a fish. Otherwise, I would have just said, like, you put that son of a bitch in the net, keep it in the water, and I will be over. But epic fail.
These things, they happen.
They do happen. We got a few of our jig heads in here. We got Hooked Up North jumps in, says, yo, y'all late? Yeah, we are late. And I'll get to the part of the reason why we're late, why I'm late in just a minute. Gravy Fishing's in the house. Good to see you. Of course, we got Loaded Potato. And then we have Elise. Ellie Noel jumps in here, and she says, sup, hoes? And then this is why I was late. 11th inning in this Red Sox game, and I'm prairie dogging. That's fantastic. Damn it, Ellie, I got to proofread your comments. Because I just went with it to make it conversational. And I'm prairie dogging it. Good for you.
Oh, my God.
I have... So I got a message from Ellie last night. She was working a job and had to drive all the way back. And it was a pretty good, she was down south. And she's like, when I travel for these jobs and stuff, she's like, I just go, And I get a message, and this was pretty late at night. And she's like, I'm in freaking Connecticut. She's like, I got to stop and get some sleep because I won't be able to make the rest of this ride. She's like, but I'm in Connecticut, and my comment was like, okay, that's cool. You know, she's like, yeah, but all these hotels are booked up, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, just do me a favor. Stay the hell out of Bridgeport. And then what she does is proceeds to send me, I'm going to show you the picture that she sends me, which is amazing. Where was it? I think it was, yeah, right here. She proceeds to send me this.
That is
in Bridgeport. That's where she was. Getting her directions.
Oh my God.
Yep. So
she was in Bridgeport. Sorry to hear that, Ellie.
She made it. I mean, really, if there is any place in Connecticut that truly makes New Haven seem like a nice place to be, it's Bridgeport, right? Am I right? Am I right, people? I'm right. And then Loaded Potato chimes in, says, proofread all you want. Still would have made the cut. You're right. You're right. It just wouldn't have caught me off guard. And then Jerry, we got Jerry House in the house. How you doing, buddy?
Jerry Multi-House.
Jerry Multi-House.
Yeah. We'll get to that later.
Was it Adam Blemecki? Somebody who recently was just like, oh, there goes Jerry House. He's on the board. Fuck it, I'm done. Something
Yes,
like Chronic Trips. I think it might have been Adam. I'm not 100% sure, but it was really good.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. We are in the final Chronic Trips of the year, and things just have not changed because of Jerry Multi-House.
No.
We'll just get to that later.
Yeah, I mean, Chronic Trips is happening, folks. It's getting bananas. You know, it's been crazy, man. As far as fishing this week goes, like I said, a couple of short sends out. Every week where I have a wedding on tap is always tough because I have this routine where early in the week I get a lot of the pre-production stuff handled. I got dry cleaning I got to drop off. I got to, make a checklist for gear and all this stuff and like figure out what I need to bring for where. And then all the way up until we get to like the day before is basically that's my prep. That's when I go and I get my equipment and I load up the truck and I do all this stuff. Everything else beforehand is double checking timelines, solidifying any loose ends that we maybe had for, details, getting music together, making sure I've got all the right stuff. And then being that off of the bride to make sure that everything still checks out, whatever we did have for loose ends. So it's kind of nuts. And then you factor that into all the Mr. Mom stuff that I do at the house. Mm-hmm. That could be a whole other podcast, Sean. You and I, Mr. Moms.
Dude, that was my whole week. That's why I didn't fish.
I know. Yeah. Well, there was something you said the other day, and you were just like, we're sort of venting about, like, I mean, let's be honest here. Like, our lives could be much worse. You know what I mean? Completely. Like, they're great. Like, we're not bitching like that. But the limited amount of time, like, it's this idea that we have all this crazy free time. And that's could not be further from the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to get into like super detail.
Yeah,
really detailed about it, but like if let's just say we'll use an 8-hour workday.
Yep.
Right. So now that I've moved into this new role as, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Retired house husband, whatever the hell. I don't care. I'm at home. I'm retired.
Domestic engineer.
That's
I like that.
Excellent. Yes. Yeah. So just off the bat, if I'm working a quote unquote 40-hour domestic engineer work week, right? Every day.
Yeah.
Every day without fail, 4 to 5 hours of that is just driving my kids around.
Yeah.
To get to school, to get home from school, to get to practices, to get home from practices. And games as well. And here's the messed up part. Last week and this week, all of the makeup games that the rain washed away.
They squeezed them all in, right?
Because they have to get it in before their tournaments start. So I've watched more soccer in the past 2 weeks than I have in the past, I can't say 10 years because I coached. It's been a long time since I watched this much soccer.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the times when I was still enlisted, my wife would take care, obviously weekend games I couldn't make because I was, drilling or whatever, or on weekend shift for my job, or just couldn't get out there. And I'm watching a lot of soccer, man. I'm watching a lot.
It's a lot of kicking balls.
Because my oldest son's team is doing
He's killing it.
Their conference. Yeah,
dude, they're doing great, man. In their conferences, they're killing it. That's awesome.
He's a freshman. They got a couple of seniors that are hitting their stride and doing really, really well. And there's a couple underclassmen that are really shining as well. And you can't ask for any more for,
Yeah.
the kid not to play for a year because of extenuating circumstances. And the minute he walks back in, it's on a good team that everybody gets along and they're really doing well. So yeah, it's fun to watch, man. But I got another 4 freaking games to watch this week.
Are you serious? 4 games?
They had 2 scheduled and 2 more makeups.
Oh, yeah.
And thankfully it looks like the weather's going to cooperate for this week. So hopefully they get all these games in. And technically it's from between tomorrow and next Monday, it's 5 games. So 8 days, 5 games. It's nuts.
Dude, that's a lot. That's a lot. But you're right. Like, just the commuting,
Yeah.
like easily. I mean, between what kills me is, I'm only bringing one kid to school now. My youngest one is on the bus now. So that makes that a little bit easier. But, the kid that I'm bringing, she's learning how to drive. So she's driving to school. I'm in the car because she's got her permit, and we got to make the ride there. Of course, she's got her routine and her stops that she wants to make on the way. By the time I get back to the house, right, it's the pickup that's the worst part. The pickup is insane because we go right from that into dance.
Ooh,
dude.
Yeah, I get my second one, turn around and go to soccer practice, which that traffic is miserable. And then getting home from that is even worse. So it's like, yeah, it sucks, man. But, this is what I signed up for. So it's all good.
Ellie makes something very interesting here. She says, do you have phantom foot brake? 100% I do. Holy crap. Like, it's... And here's the best part. So tomorrow, my day is this. I'm getting up between editing the show. I wish I could get out and fish. I really do. But between editing the show, prepping the week for trivia, and handling, we have an interview to record tomorrow as well. I am going out in hopes. I am hoping to have a new vehicle tomorrow. That's the goal. We'll figure out what the deal is. So I got to go make this happen. And my daughter is so forward thinking that she's like, I really hope, Dad, that this new car you get has those preset driver's seat positions that you can lock into place. It'll just make it that much easier for when I take the car. And I'm like, you're not taking the car.
Oh,
I hate to tell you, you're not taking my car. We're going to work something out.
No.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, other people's daily routines are good, but I'm telling you, like, just the random stuff, the shipping and receiving. Oh my God, it's bananas. So I really was hoping to make it out much for at least a little bit longer. Each of those short trips, it was about an hour and 15 minutes, maybe an hour for the first one. I wish I could have made that a couple hours, make it work out. I actually think I did it last Tuesday, jump out too for a short period of time. There was one day where I recorded a trip that was like 29 minutes. I think I fished for 29 minutes before I had somebody call me and I needed to go and do something. So it was rough. I was like, you got to be shitting me. I was swearing the whole way back to the car. It was bad. But it is what it is. Saturday was awesome. I had such a great time. Nice little pond. It's crazy. Like, a lot of the weeds are starting to die, but the water temps where I was 64, 65 degrees still.
Yeah. And, there's that big bite happened because I know not only did Paul catch that fish, I know at least 2 other people that hit into big fish. I always see it around new moons, man. I love fishing in new moons.
Yep.
I tend to do a lot worse around full moons. I know big fish are caught around there, but you see it. You see people catching bigger fish around those 2 particular moon phases. It makes sense. I didn't get out at all. The only thing I did was I volunteered my services this week to, I don't know, co-host. What did I do?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I would say that you... I don't know. It was weird. Your role on that episode of Bass and Brews was interesting because I felt like on the one hand you were a guest. Maybe let's say guest co-host.
Guest co-host.
Guest
but there was no
co-host
host because Paul was the co-host.
He was the co-host, but you were a guest co-host.
two wrongs did not make a right.
No, it was I don't know if you guys had checked out Bass and Brews this week. That discussion was heavy. I listened Friday all day, grabbing my gear, packing stuff up, picking up my dry cleaning. And I was like, I had like one earbud in. I was at the dry cleaners. I'm like, can you believe this? These two freaking idiots just arguing back and forth about.
The problem was I attempted several times to specifically define what I meant by luck.
Yes.
It didn't fucking matter.
No.
It did not matter. It was.
Well, I did determine that at some extent, Paul was desperately trying to compliment you.
I
You
know
what I mean?
but
He really was. He was just trying to put you on a pedestal, but you were just like, no, man, it's luck. And the thing is so when I remember, I kept going back to that conversation that you and I had. I think we actually might have had this on the podcast. And to give credit where credit's due, this is not a formula that I have in my head. This is a Chad Hoover thing, where the formula is preparation plus experience plus luck. It's a ratio relationship. You know, if you don't have the experience or you don't have the preparation, you're going to rely on luck. And that's a gamble, you know? If you're going to have success, it's going to be because you got lucky. But if you're prepared and you have experience, then you reduce the amount of luck it takes to get success. You know?
Yeah, and for those of you who either listened to it or didn't listen to it, my only 2 cents to chime in on that was my definition of luck is,
Yep.
well, you've got a big fish. The luck comes in where is it 18 inches or is it 20 inches? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That was for me, and I there's no angler that can go out and
Babe
say,
Ruth. it
yeah,
like
I'm gonna
that. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and skip the 18s today and just go right for the 20s.
I think I'm going to throw this because it's straight 20. It's straight 20 salad. That's what we're going to
no, don't cast over there. There's 18s over there. You want to go about 3 feet to your right. That's where the 20s are. It's like, who the fuck does that?
Oh,
So yeah, so we're getting some reports here from our loyal jig heads. Still high, Jerry's high 50s. He's up to shears, and then we've got some low 60s now. We have not had some super sunny days, and there's been some rain off and on.
There has been some
two things
rain.
are going to drop.
Yep.
I also got a report from Nelson that he
Oh.
fished a deeper lake and said that remember when we went out, we saw that straight across line, that thermocline.
Yeah.
He said the lake he was at, he went out to 45 feet of water and could not see it. So that's starting to disperse now.
Yeah.
But the turnover again is temperature based, and we'll see it flip.
Mhm.
Generally, let me underline that, generally mid 50s.
Yeah.
So we're getting there, we're getting closer. But if somebody's defining fall by the turnover and the bite that accompanies it, or the distribution of fish all over the water because there's oxygen and temperature just everywhere,
Yeah.
we're almost there, almost. So
I
There
think
you
it's
go.
going to be an interesting one. I'll tell you, man, after this outing today, on Saturday, it's got me really, really, really thinking I need to get my hands on a good dry suit.
yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah.
And like Jeff Little said, I just want to bring up this conversation real quick. So the question between a dry suit and a wet suit comes
Yeah.
in, and I know obviously body styles are going to play a huge part in that decision.
That's a big part for me.
Yeah, the real difference in the two comes in
That's a
as
lot
both
of
are going to keep you
sausage.
alive. Yeah, I don't ever want to see that again. And neither do our patrons, unless there's a couple of sick fucks in there. Gravy, no, you won't. He's not going to show you again. I'm sorry, that was picking on Eric. I mean, the real difference is going to be if you go in the water in either one. In the dry suit, there's a better chance you're going to continue fishing,
Yep.
or you're going to be able to continue fishing. In
Yeah.
a wetsuit, like the water I'm going in, if I go in, I'm done for the
You're
day.
done, yeah.
Like I'm fine with a wetsuit. Keep myself alive. Get to the truck.
Yeah.
Get naked wherever I may be in public. Get some other clothes
You
on. 'cause I
love
always do
that.
bring extra clothes. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
fucking. It's a hobby, pastime of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And then go. So the wetsuit is good for me, and especially that new split one that I got. I love that thing to death. But yeah, dude, once you start looking at dry suits, let me know what you turn up, because
Yeah.
when the prices are out of my range, but I want to see what you dig up. You
Yeah.
might find one that I haven't seen, or maybe they've come down. I don't know.
Well, and I mean, the way I've been going out the last couple of weeks, I feel comfortable taking the boat and giving it a rip, but I really would like to continue getting out on the kayak into November. Is really that's where it comes into play. And I mean, honestly, I just think for body style, body shape, dude, wetsuits are tough to fit. They're tough to fit a flabby fuck like me. It's tough, you know? So at least with a dry suit, I mean, it's going to be ill-fitting, you know, it's not a fashion statement, but it'll be effective. And that's kind of where my whole thing is. But we'll figure that out. I'd love to get there. Josh, hooked up north, sent me a message today. And I thought this was awesome. Remember we were up in Champlain? And I took those because like a moron, I left my catch board at the cabin. So luckily that day we were on Ian's bass boat. You know, Ian of course owns Bass Cabin 189. You can check out their VRBO. Just hit me up with a DM and I'll send that over to you so you can you know, give it a whirl up there if you want in St. Albans Bay area of Champlain. But he said, he's like, dude, don't worry about it. He's like, you know, whatever you catch that's worth measuring that you think is going to be worthwhile, we'll live well it. We'll bring it back and then we'll release them at the cabin. So what I had done there was I had measured the smallie that I had, and I noticed that the colors really popped out of the live well. And I don't know if it's because it's dark, you know, or I don't know necessarily what the situation is. But Josh had commented today. He's like, he was out testing some baits for his new bait company. I'm gonna give
Wisco.
Wisco. And he was out, you know, testing a couple of I think bucktail jigs, and got on them pretty good. But I mean, dude, take a look at the fucking colors, man.
So pretty. Such tigers.
Amazing, absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, and he mentioned, he's like, yeah, good luck on or good call on boxing the smallies, then bringing out the colors. Tanked one today, and all the colors went absolutely wild. So if you're looking to get great pictures, I think that's what you want to do, man.
Yeah, could be. I don't know what that's from. Is that from stress? Is that from?
I don't know. You know. It's just they look amazing. I was like, holy crap. Because I do, with that one shot on the board, that's after being in the live well, and then I have a selfie from when I caught it before I live well the fish. And I took a selfie, and you know, he's much more like washed out and just straight up bronze, you know. There's less of a pattern. That was just really cool. I was like, that's pretty cool, man. But
very nice.
Freaking bananas. So let's talk about, well, tell me about your week, Sean. Like,
I think I just did.
I think you kind of just did, yeah.
My week was lame. I got to apologize to everybody. This was a rough week for me for fishing. I just didn't get out. Now, we got the long weekend, and I am planning on getting out tomorrow. As you know, everyone knows we very quietly record this on a Sunday night. Mm-hmm. Jump in if you're our patrons know that because they get to watch us do this. Yeah. There's a little bit of whoring. But I'm getting out tomorrow. I didn't get to fish. Man, it's been over a week. The last time I fished was the day before the day of the clutch show from last episode. So I haven't fished.
Yeah.
I've really put a lot of work into housework and shit that needs to be done. The Halloween decorations are up, by God. We're kicking ass over here at my house, but that just meant that fishing went by the wayside. Plus with the soccer schedule, I can't emphasize that enough. It's been running, and that's fine. I'm good with it. But tomorrow, we're getting out tomorrow, and then I've got to start my preparation very, very loosely starting today or tomorrow with the next big tournament I have coming up is the MAKB Championship, which for me is a double down because I'm also fishing the Knockout Championship that day. Unfortunately, that we had to move that to that. So I'm doubling down that day.
You're busy.
That's a big day. So I got to know some stuff about this water. I haven't fished it in like 2 years. So and see what's going on.
Shit can happen in a couple of years, you know? Mm-hmm. You know? So it's good if you can get reacquainted at the very least.
True statement.
That's all good.
Yeah.
So we had this conversation after one of my outings. It was the one where I had lost a lipless crank and a spinnerbait back to back. Both were producing, and I had brought it up to Sean that we should definitely talk a little bit about losing baits, how we deal with it. I'd like to say this, that from the get-go, if you talk to the Bobby Roast Beef in 2018, 2019, I lost way more baits than I do now. It was enough where at times I was just like, are you freaking serious? How cheap can I get these? I feel like I'm just making donations at that point. Sean, didn't you tell me about a buddy of yours that would just go and and in one of the ponds, he would just take a lipless crank or whatever it was and just throw it in and be like, it's going in there anyway.
So when I got to my first duty station, my first base active duty, there's almost every base has a base lake. They almost all have golf courses and they all have a base lake. This particular base lake had, to say riprap would be an understatement. My understanding was the flight line years prior had been torn up and thrown into an area and then filled with water. And then I think, and I had heard there was nothing, I don't know anybody that worked at this office, that the lake was then stocked with fish that survived with the amount of chemicals in that water. So that the EPA would get off their case because, look, there's fish living here. It's fine. But there was just cement and rebar at the bottom of this lake.
Yeah.
Recipe
for disaster.
Yeah. When I got to that duty station, I, of course, got a roommate, moved off base and me almost immediately and got him into fishing. And I said, well, we got to go try this. So we went over there. We were fishing off the shore and the riprap would just steal lures. That's what it did. And, especially if there's rebar down there, it was just nuts. It would just cut the line up. And we lucked out. There was a Big Lots locally that got it got a hold of a giant selection of striking spinnerbaits and rattle traps.
Yep.
Actual name brand striking spinnerbaits and name brand rattle traps. Wasn't just lipless crankbaits. And I was like, oh, these are great. And I bought a ton of them. Very, very cheap. I want to say they were $1 to $2 each. It was great. And after a couple more trips of these, my buddy and the rattle traps, he lost so many of them, but he had so many, but went and bought another $20 worth. Every time we went fishing from that point on, he would just, before he even cast, he just walk to the shore, open up a new rattle trap and throw it in the lake. He's like, this one's for my homies. And that was it. So that lives on forever. He did that. And that was the first thing I thought of when you told me about these losing lures. I mean, who doesn't lose lures? I mean, the Just the Tip's going to, this week is going to have some ways that I deal with that and mitigate losing lures so that if, let's say you're in a tournament and you lose a lure, how has your preparation mitigated that? So you're not fucked, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
And, how many lures have I lost over the years? 1 million? I don't know.
Oh, 100%.
Fish take them, trees take them. Everything takes them.
Now we got a couple of people jumping in here, and I do want to eventually circle around to a question that Ellie had proposed about specific Cadillacs, specific kayaks in just a second. But so Gravy mentions that he lost a jig, some weights and hooks this weekend. Comes with the territory, definitely. Then Josh jumps in and says riprap and zebra mussels equals razor blades. That 100%. If nothing else, riprap riprap is do a number on your line. If nothing else, even if you get the bait, make sure that bitch isn't frayed to hell because I have found myself retying way more this year than I ever have and paying attention to my line, which is a good thing, but also can get kind of frustrating. You're like, son of a bitch, what was down there?
Yeah. In response to Gravy, I mean, you've heard me say it a million times, and this goes for not just jigs, but Ned rigs, anything that is basically a jig. Mm-hmm. You use jigs, you lose jigs.
It's just the way it's definitely true. If I found the one thing that I will say is that I have found that when I'm bank fishing versus when I'm fishing from any kind of a vessel, I lose a significant amount more while I'm on the bank. It's the nature of the beast. You just can't get to that other spot where you can release it from the other side. So there are some tricks that I've done where I've seen where I'll put just enough tension on the line and then snap the line to try to like jostle it, especially that works like with rocks and things like that. If the hook point is in, a piece of timber or something like that, sometimes that can be enough to rattle it free. I know there's that saying that hook sets are free, and you got to cross that some bitch's eyes is the phrase I think Lockwood likes to use.
Cross his fucking eyes. That was a Mike Durhamism.
Yeah.
My jig mentor. You got to cross his fucking eyes. Okay.
But, when you do that, it's a lot harder to get that bait back should it be, like I like to know it's a fish before I swing fully. You know what I mean? I like to, if I can, you know what I mean?
Especially from the shore,
Yeah, especially from the bank. I really like to, so I will go and say this: when it comes to jigs, I lose very few of them now. Swim jigs, all that stuff. I think for me, the baits that I lose the most are chatterbaits, lipless cranks because they sink, and I work them at all different levels. Jerk baits I don't lose too often. I really don't. But like lipless cranks, I've lost a square bill or two, but that's very rare. I don't really throw that stuff that often. And spinner baits, I just lose like a motherfucker, and I don't even know how. I don't know why,
I'm going to utter a phrase that has
it.
never been uttered on any fishing podcast or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I hemorrhage Ned rigs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
Hemorrhage them.
Yeah. I lose those quite a bit. I really do.
Yep.
But I feel like in comparison to those other moving baits, I feel like for me, chatterbaits are among the worst. For some reason, I lose those so much.
I don't lose a lot of chatterbaits.
Neds I treat a lot like jigs, although I rarely use an open hook Ned. A lot of the nets that I use. A lot of the Neds that I use. So I'm not so concerned about the hook, but like I've gotten that little weight crammed, into like some random, couple of rocks, or the, in between some timber or something. And I'm like, I just can't loosen it up. But even there, I've gotten better at freeing them up. Definitely like it's hard for me to remember the last time I lost a bait when I was in the kayak.
Mm-hmm.
But from the bank, oh man, it is just brutal. It is just brutal. So I want to jump in here and throw some of these comments out because there is some gold here.
Ellie.
Ellie says she's got a point. Drop shot murderers equals zebra muscles. Yeah, definitely. And like that's the beauty about drop shot weights. It's almost like they know. They're like, you're going to lose this. It just clips to your line so that it won't break your leader off or mess with anything else. It'll just slip away when it gets hung up. It's just, that's the part of it.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. And then Gravy jumps in and says, that's why I buy 2 at a time now so I can use them. That's how it is that I do it. I'm like, okay, yeah, so I'm going to bring this and I figure I'm going to lose maybe 3 max. So I'll have this with me and I've got a backup. Oh, if I miss this, I'll throw this instead. That's kind of what I did the other day. I lost that rattle trap and I threw a spinner that matched the color pattern. And I was, my thought process was more like, is it the bait? Is it the style? Is it the vibration? Or is it the color? Let's see if we can go with color and see how that works out. He mentions it was a pickerel infested pond and that Sean knows exactly the pond that he was on.
How the fuck do I know that? There's 5,000 pickerel infested ponds in Massachusetts.
You're the crowned prince of pickerel. You of course would know this.
I don't know. Gravy, go ahead and tell us because I have no fucking idea.
Ellie says, I lose them all, paired with my dignity. Goes
Bingo.
Goes with the saying. Josh jumps in and says, I lost three jigs and 6 Ned heads today. We just get wedged in riprap. That's exactly it, man. It sucks. Oh, man, it's tough. So it's like I would recommend, like, just for my 2 cents, I love that, set the hook when you know it's a fish. I can't see Ellie. That. Oh, what was that? Oh,
Ellie's
13th.
Ellie's giving us, while we're recording here, this is game 3 of the ALDS with the Red Sox and the Rays, and she's giving us she's giving us updates. We're now in the 13th inning. It scores 4-4, and I have my phone up
it's
on
still
Do Not
4-4.
Disturb.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's on Do Not Disturb. I'm just seeing if any changes. I have really lost my interest in most sports professionally, but what the hell? If it's a fucking
it's
tie
postseason.
game.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Ellie jumps in and says, I like to pretend it's a fish sometimes just to soften the blow. So story time. Okay. Paul and I have been fishing a lot. And if you're a jig head, you've seen the video where I talk about on Quabbin how I say, we're not good at this. We should just give up. This is, but we want proof. Like, you guys have seen the video if you're a patron. What there were quite often there was a time where I would be working a jig or a Texas rig, and I would just get, in the crevice of a couple of rocks, I would just get that sucker buried in. And like I love Paul. He's my best friend. We tell him, I'm like, dude, I got a monster. Get the net. Rod's totally bowed over. And he would lose his shit. He'd be like, oh, dude, really? and then I would just like release the tension. I'd be like, no, actually, I'm about to break this lure off. It's okay. But I kind of, learned a few tricks on how to get those baits back. I mean, it doesn't always work, but the way I figure it, it's like this. If you're not losing baits, you're not really trying. Not sponsored, but thanks, Becca. But also at the other point of it, if you at least attempt in getting that bait back, like I have been out with some fishermen that are like, they get hung up and they're just like, oh, that sucks. Bop. And I'm like, what? Like, at least give it a minute, Yeah. Give it a freaking minute.
I don't do that. I try to get everything back.
I try.
Money.
Yeah.
It's money.
Well, yeah, it absolutely is. And not only money, but like time is money, And I want to be enjoying myself. Not retiring.
Yeah. I've actually got quite a bit on just a tip for this. We'll get
there. Good.
But
that's good.
Yeah. How much can we really talk about losing lures? You throw fucking lures in the water. Not all of them are coming back.
I know.
You.
Although
the end.
we started talking about that this week, and I shared this meme, a picture of Michael Phelps with all of his Olympic medals. And it says, if losing lures was an Olympic sport, and we got mega likes and so many comments from so many people, because this is probably about the most relatable fishing problem I think that there is. If you use artificial bait, oh man, you know the deal. You know exactly what it is, but freaking bananas.
Gravy just jumped back in and let us know where that pond was. I'm not going to say it on the air, but Gravy, I know where it is. I've only fished there once, and I didn't catch any pickerel. There's supposed to be northern pike in there. So, yeah.
Some friggin' northerns.
Supposed to be.
I like a northern.
They're fun.
Oh, so yeah, that's about it for the hot topic there. I mean, we've got, this is a problem everybody can relate to. So if you're listening to this and you're just like, man, yeah, absolutely. I've heard, send us a horror story, like DM us on Instagram or something. Let us know about what is the most valuable lure that you've lost. And I've heard this before a couple of different times where people will save like the lures that they've broken, or if they do get them back and they're like mangled and not usable, like there's a lure graveyard that they have put together. And I'm like, what's the biggest, which one hurt you the most? You know what I mean? I had a situation on Saturday that just freaking hurt bad. I was struggling. I was throwing a Ned. This was after Paul had hooked up with that monster on Saturday, and I was throwing a Ned. I was able to see some fish on my sonar. I was able to see some stuff on my sonar, and these fish all seem to be really shallow, much more shallow than I was kind of expecting. And I caught a nice chunky little nibbler on a Ned. And I had thrown a handful of other things. Tried throwing that Ned into a couple of brush piles and stuff. Didn't lose it. I had to go and dig it out and get it back, but didn't lose it. And then we fished this other bank where I was alternating between an underspin and a Ned, covering water. And what I would do is you see it on my map, actually, if you look back. What I would do is I would cover a short end of this bank, and then I would turn off and go into deeper water and loop around. And I would switch, and then I would switch to the Ned and fish that same spot. So I'd kind of do like a loop pattern all the way around and just cover it, cover it with a moving presentation, cover it with something smaller, cover it with a moving presentation, cover it with something smaller, nothing. So we get over to this one area, and I'm like, I think I'm just going to lock the swim jig in my hand and give it a shot. Because it was a natural color, like that seemed to work, clear water. I'm like, there's some grass still, some green grass, lots of brown grass, lots of it. So I'm throwing around a swim jig, and third cast, and I hook into a larger nibbler. I don't know if it was going to break that, the 12-inch mark, but it was, decent sized fish, and get him to the boat, and he just shook right off. Right as I was going to grab the net to go scoop him. I'm like, you son of a bitch. You piece of shit. You ignorant fucker.
He's ignorant now, huh? Is he ignorant or is he ignorant?
No, he's ignorant.
Oh, I would like to jump in with a comment here. Why don't you
Fire
load
away.
up our last comment there?
The one from Loaded Potato?
Yeah, read that, and then I have a response.
All right. I lost my good dancing eel and knew it was going to be damn near impossible to replace.
His last good one. Let this be a call to arms. Our good friend Loaded Potato is the only human being I know that has any success with the Bill Dance and Eel. If anyone comes across those, please send us a message, myself or Bobby Roast Beef. Bill Dance and Eel, call to arms. This man needs them. Thank you. Public service.
I believe the day we went fishing with Joe and Wild Bill, it was when we recorded the Veterans Day stuff.
Yep.
It was, I believe, that day. I think he threw a dancing eel then, too.
That is not an unusual thing for the Loaded Potato to throw. But they are no longer produced, I don't believe, and we got to get them some old ones.
That's the whole thing. They're no longer produced. So it's like, regardless of the price point, like, it's priceless at that point. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't get them, you can't get them.
Man needs his dancing eel. That's all I can say.
Needs his dancing eel.
I did find a couple of them. Maybe 5-6 years ago, I was in Oklahoma, and I found 2 in the package, unused.
Oh wow!
And I said, "Look what I got for you." You know what else he likes using?
What's that?
The old Strike King grass frog. Remember those?
Oh yeah.
Yep. So I think I picked him up a couple of those too.
Uh-huh.
I went to Oklahoma, and that man got presents.
So that's awesome. I do want to throw out a mention. Ellie jumps in here with this comment, and she asks, have you seen those catamaran kayaks? Like, is that extra or legit beneficial? I guess she had driven by one, and she kind of struck her by surprise. One thing that I'm curious about, though, Ellie, when you say catamaran kayaks, you talking about like a kayak that's got the stabilizers on either side?
I think she's talking about, I've seen a couple of tournament anglers use these. It's the Blue Sky Boatworks. Have you seen those? It's a pedal catamaran style kayak.
Really?
Yeah. Some people obviously have trolling motors and shit on them. They go about $4,000. That's good stuff.
No kidding.
Yeah. I mean, I could send you a picture of one here.
Or is it almost like the Jackson makes something very similar? It's like 2 small hulls with a deck that goes across it, and it's got actually like a seat that's got a stand and everything. And there's,
I don't think it's small. These are probably the biggest kayaks you're going to see in kayak tournaments. They're
really
enormous.
I'm going to look.
Yeah, they're 13 and a half long, 48 inches across. I mean, they weigh 150 pounds without anything on them. It's Blue Sky Boatworks is one of the companies that makes them.
All right, Blue Sky Boatworks. I'm looking this up because now I'm interested.
Yep, I have not used one. I have seen other anglers use them. I do not have an opinion on them. I am not.
Yeah.
I'm not promoting them, but they seem damn stable. But something like that, you need with 48 inches across. Well, maybe a full-size pickup you could put in the bed, right?
You might be able to, yeah. Or you need a utility trailer like I've got. You could fit that on there.
Yeah.
So Jackson actually makes something like this. In fact, there is one at 3 Bells.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I don't know if it's one that's for sale or if it's one that somebody keeps there so they can like go and like at the marina. But I've seen one there, and I was like, no shit. As a matter of fact, you know that that YouTuber Lojo?
Yes.
He had one. Yeah, before he got his boat and everything else, and it's exactly what I was thinking of. It's like it's got two small hulls that basically are on either side with a platform across.
Dude, it looks like it's the same company. It's the Blue Sky Boatworks. That's what it is. I'm on Jackson's site right now, and it says there it is. There it is. Yeah, $3,600 for the Blue Sky Boatworks.
Yeah, and there's a power version too.
Oh my God, there's a triple one. It's a double seater.
Oh, why?
I don't know. Let's go ahead and chip in on $6,000 and buy it, and then you and I can hold hands while we're pedaling. It'll be great.
I think that's a great idea. You know what? Actually, that'll be really nice when we're fishing in Idaho when we leave Western Mass to raise sheep. or maybe we'll raise sheephead. They're fish.
You can do that too.
You know?
I do. I'm familiar with a sheephead.
Yeah. Sheep's head.
So there we go. We know stuff now, and so does our listening public. Hey, remember that episode where we came up so unprepared that we were actually doing web searches while we were talking to bullshit?
It's an interesting sort of point that she brought up, and I was just like, I'm curious what she's talking about, because I have seen other kayaks that have stabilizers on either side, and I get that. Actually, in fact, I think Lockwood's canoe, that's a lifestyle though. That's totally different. But I think his canoe has stabilizers as well.
What if someone makes a quad kayak, huh? That's like 6-minute abs.
That is like 6-minute abs. Fan-friggin-tastic. Guys, just a quick message that we do have some new merch that's about to go live on our store over at jigsandbigs.com. Great opportunity for you to go ahead and stock up on some good stuff. We have a few items also that we're not really talking about. There's one we had mentioned last week or the week before about like just a modification that's being made that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. I think this will work really good for you. There's some items that we have that are freaking phenomenal. Like really, really cool, like some fun stuff. I don't want to give out too many details or anything like that. Of course, we've got our Spotify playlist that you can go and check out on Spotify. Of course, just search Jigs and Bigs and click the playlist tabs, and you'll be able to see that. And then we've got our fishing report. Our fishing report comes out every Thursday afternoon, and it's available over at northeastwildwoman.com. Cheryl does an amazing job working on that report. If the demand is there, we're going to continue with it through winter as long as we have some info coming in, some intel from our jig heads. If you're an avid ice fisherman and we have, safe ice and you're getting out there, you'd like to partake in or interested, hit us up. We obviously want to make sure that you can, type in, relatively coherent sentences, moderately understandable. We'll kind of go with it from there. But I want to throw a quick shout out real quick, Sean. This is totally off the topic, but so you're fairly new to Instagram, right?
I should say so, because I only got it when we started the show, right? You were like, you got to get on this shit.
Yeah.
And I did it.
Yeah, and I mean, you got on no problem with no issues. You took to it like a fish may take to water, as the kids say. So there is an Instagram profile that I love. It's called Springfield, Massachusetts Sucks. Springfield, MA Sucks. I recommend you check this out because it's kind of nuts. But they have a new T-shirt coming out. And I'm gonna hold this up so you can see it. It's basically a rip on the Bass Pro Shops logo, and it says, and if you're in Western Mass, you'll appreciate this. It says Bondi's Fish and Game. The world record brown trout is at Bondi's. It's amazing. Enormous. No, and I actually have been engaging with this Instagram profile here or there about different stuff. Actually, a lot with like trivia and things like that because they I don't know, they seem to like and support a lot of stuff that I do, and that's pretty awesome. I like that. They also do some pretty good community-based stuff as well as showing some insanity around the valley. It's kind of amazing. But this shirt came up, and I messaged them, and I said, I need this in a fat guy size. And
We
they said,
need this in
Yeah.
a tall guy and a fat guy size.
It's got to, I think it needs to be done. Yeah, I said, I need this shirt. I said, running New England's favorite fishing podcast out of the 413. This is too perfect. And they said, I got you when I put the big order. I'm looking into bigger sizes. I also need to shoot a promo video. Someone who's got all the fishing gear. So
Sounds like we got to make an appointment.
I
with
think
somebody.
we might be making some kind of a appearance. I don't know. Mixed media. I don't know. You know, how do you?
When and the where?
Yeah, that's all I'm waiting on. So, but yeah, I think that shirt needs to happen. That would be a great collab shirt. There, no, it really would be. It really would be. Although I'm glad they're doing it because I don't want to go to court with Bass Pro Shops.
Yeah.
I want to
Or-
avoid that.
Or the city of Springfield or their water department.
The water treatment plant. Yeah.
Yeah.
You leave a goddamn freaking brown trout alone, you bastard. Oh my goodness.
They're out of season.
They're out of season, you prick. Oh man. Yeah, it is October and it's getting very October. I'm wearing the flannel. I'm back to that season now. You know.
Dude, couple before we wrap up segment 1 here, a couple
Yeah.
of nerd things. So I went to what was called Flannel Jam yesterday.
Yeah, tell me about Flannel Jam.
Oh,
Give me
dude,
the details.
Flannel Jam. So yesterday was supposed to be a nice, relaxing day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're out here on the western side of the state. So I have to take Interstate 90 to get to the Boston and
Sure.
South Shore area.
Yeah.
90 had an accident at the 84 interchange. For those of you
God.
people who are not from New England, the 84 interchange is everything. People
Mm-hmm.
from Rhode Island, Connecticut, and New York use it to go back and forth from Cape Cod, and people from Massachusetts use it to go back and forth from New York, Rhode Island, and Connecticut.
Yep.
There's always an accident at the interchange. Always.
You can
Always.
count on it. You can set your watch to that.
The road was widened years ago so that people getting off that exit would not stay in the fast lane until the last possible spot. And all that did was give them yet another lane to stay in the fast lane until the last
Yep.
possible second. So there's constantly accidents around there. So we're going east.
You mean these civil engineered projects didn't go according to plan?
Well-
knock me over with a feather.
They underestimated the tenacity of the out-of-state drivers to stay in that lane. But anyways, we went out there. We left. We didn't leave early. We left pretty much on time. Things started at 2:00. One of my sons didn't want to go with us, so we dropped him off hanging out with my parents. And then we got on the road, got to that 84 interchange after the last mile or two before it was just deadlocked traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the accident well ahead, and I said, you know what? We're gonna jump off 84 here. We're gonna take 20 east. That's my little shortcut. I'm telling a lot of people now. I'll take 20 all the way to Worcester because that avoids a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bullshit there.
Right as I got past Route 49 on 20, another accident. I had to turn around. Got up on 49, took Route 9 all the way into Worcester, got on 290, went down 90. It took me 3.5 to 4 hours to get to just south of Boston.
That's insane.
I'm asking my wife, I'm going, she doesn't have the answer to this, but I'm going, why is there so much traffic? And then I realized it's Columbus Day weekend. People are all over the roads.
Yeah.
So when we got there, now, folks from Flannel Jam, your advertising. Let's talk a little bit about your advertising because I am a paying customer.
Mm-hmm.
I have a fucking bone to pick.
Oh.
So when we're told there's a hay maze and when we're told there's whatever the fuck a corn pool is, I expect a corn pool and some hay maze. I don't expect a hay maze because my 13-year-old son was with us and he was like, hay maze, fuck yeah, I'm going to run around the hay maze. This is at a fairground, so there's plenty of room. This hay maze was about 20 by 20 feet and maybe 3 feet tall. and 2 and 3 year olds were running around smashing into each other in it. I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. My son was so upset because we dragged him to a concert with the promise of fun fall activities. Now let me talk about the corn pool, which was an 8x8 sandbox filled with dry corn kernels and 2 and 3 year olds whipping corn at each other. That was bullshit. This was ridiculous. And my youngest son was so pissed, and there was a couple other things going on there that I didn't really feel too great about. And I said, if you want to leave, I'll leave. We don't have to stay for the band. It was we expected to have some activities going for an hour or so, or hour and two, whatever. And wow, Flannel Jam did not come through. So I went there to go see one of my few bluegrass bands I listen to, and they do a jam band infusion shit. So they're in my ball. They've been on my radar for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The Yonder Mountain String Band from Colorado. I dig them. We didn't even wait for them. We left an hour before they started their set.
No kidding.
I was pissed. So Flannel Jam, get your shit together. Thank you. That's one thing. But then on a bright note, about an hour ago, it's an hour in, maybe an hour and a half ago, I was reading some news on one of the rock and metal sites I tend to pop in on a news, and I saw that you and I both have to give some major props.
Yep.
And I haven't watched a college football game in probably 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
The Ohio State University marching band did a tribute to Rush at their home game this weekend. I'm not going to describe it. I'm not going to get into it other than saying I have never seen anything like that. I highly urge anyone who's listening right now, jump on YouTube or wherever the hell you go to find your videos. Just type that in. Yep. Firing it up.
I'm going to give a little bit to him.
Yeah. A little limelight. There you go. But the marching itself is otherworldly. So props to you guys. Bobby, got to make sure. Tag the Ohio State marching band. And when we put the post
when we drop this
episode.
yeah 100%,
dude, I've never seen anything like that. My brother,
I'm looking at the bike now, the motorcycle.
Yeah, isn't it crazy?
Oh my god, it's crazy.
Yeah. Just so we know what's going on here, and so Ellie's gonna lose her shit here in a minute. Unless she already did. Nope, she did not. Red Sox walked off with a 2-run homer. Vasquez in the bottom of the 13th. They are now up 2-1 on the Rays and can put the series away. But tomorrow at Fenway, I think. Tomorrow, good for them.
Nice.
A lot of pro and college sports going on here this week. Weird episode.
I'm gonna put this right here so you guys can see this video. It is insanity. Like it truly, truly, truly is insanity.
There's a drummer. Drums. Look, see, they actually formed a drummer. They made Neil Peart stick figure see him hitting the cymbal?
And look at the cymbal moving. Oh my God.
These people are nuts. How do you do this shit?
It's so cool.
Yeah, so everybody go check that out. That video is insane. Even if you're not a Rush or music fan, just I've never seen choreography with marching like that in my life. Now, my brother did say when I called him immediately and I said, have you seen this? And I sent him a link and he said, yes, there's other bands out there that will play Michael Jackson tributes and make him moonwalk.
I've seen
They'll make a Michael Jackson. See, it's nuts. It's crazy. It's crazy talk.
Rush is a whole other beast. Like, oh my goodness. And here is Ellie. Red Sox win. She's psyched.
She took a minute from running down the street naked to text us.
Screaming at her neighbors. Oh my God, I spent the night in Bridgeport, Connecticut for crying out loud. Red Sox win.
Yeah, now just so we know, like, what I know the Red Sox at this point are obnoxious to the rest of the nation. Everyone thinks New England sports are obnoxious. We get it. With the Red Sox, the only people that know are Cubs fans, and they know it worse.
They get it. Yeah, they do.
Dude, I remember what I ate at my grandmother's house when Billy Buckner and the ball between his legs happened. That's how much that shit hurt. And you talk to people older than us, and they got decades of that shit. They just remember
lifetimes.
I remember that day. But so when 2004 happened, I mean, dude, I relapsed. That was my first stint of sobriety. I had one glass of champagne, and within like a month, I was drunk again.
Yeah,
because that happened.
Thanks,
like we never. Yeah, we never. Well, yeah, we never thought that would happen in our lifetimes. It was just we were destined to lose.
Oh yeah.
I'd say we, like I'm fucking on the team, but we as fans were destined to just watch this team lose over and over and over again. And 2004 happened, and then what? 07 was next, and then 13, and then 18 was. Am I missing one? I don't think so.
No.
13 is there? Yeah, 13, 18. Yeah, so whatever. I kind of got out of it because once 04 happened, that's never going to happen again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That was
it'll
it.
never be that epic.
That was it. That was crazy. That was crazy. So, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
But yeah, they're winning again. So good.
That's
Yay.
awesome.
My life hasn't changed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this is. Just,
I'm not relapsing because they've walked off in the bottom of the 13th in the middle of a division game. I don't care.
So now it's 2-1, right?
2-1. Sox are up on the Rays.
Yeah, 2-1 over the Rays.
And I think
which
they
is
have a
good
game tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
good
yay.
freaking stuff, man.
That's it.
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, guys. We'll come back. We got just the tip, and it involves losing your baits, losing your lures, things that you can do to kind of help. I'm interested in this because, I mean, like I said, I'll take all the help I can get. 100%. 100%. I like throwing them all. I'm never going to stop, but I'd like to not lose them. So we'll be back with that. We also have in this week's FTG, you're not going to want to miss. The Butcher calls us and tells us this is the kind of situation that you only really hear about. Like you don't think people are this freaking stupid. That's all I'm going to say. Is just leave it at that. But we'll be right.
Did this guy not know he was messing with the Butcher?
I have a feeling. Yeah, I have a feeling that he did not know, but I feel like he knows now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he knows now. I got a feeling. We're going to be right back, guys. Don't go too far. Got much more coming up. Ellie went to go take a poop, and we will be back. You guys, sit tight. We'll see you in about 60 seconds. Jigs and Bigs is proud to announce we're being supported by Old Glory Outdoors. They're a veteran-owned company that carries fishing and hunting gear. Plus, they're highly active in supporting veteran organizations and charities. Old Glory is an authorized dealer of favorite rods, FX rods, Guggen baits, X-Zone lures, Sixth Sense, and many more. There's a brick-and-mortar store located in East Brookfield, Massachusetts, but you can also order online at oldgloryoutdoors.com. They ship anywhere in the lower 48 states or order online and pick up at the store. When you order, use the promo code JIGS and Bigs and you'll save 10% off your complete order. Plus, you'll help support the show. Make sure to check out the apparel line called OGO Gear while you're there. Old Glory Outdoors believes in the slogan "Start 'em young" to keep kids away from screens and enjoying nature. They've got a full array of live bait too. Check out oldgloryoutdoors.com and use the promo code JIGS and Bigs. Save some money and gear up now.
Bobby and Sean now have a special presentation for us all. They'd like to give everyone just the tip.
Indeed, everybody. That's what we're here to do. We're here to provide you with information on ways. Sean is going to tell us how you can basically never lose a single lure again as long as you fish. Sean?
That is a horrible lie.
setup. Yeah. Yeah. The only way you could ever not lose lures is to not go fishing.
Correct. I would like to title this just the tip: losing your lures without losing your shit.
There we go.
People are going to get sick of all the tips that I bring up that are all based off of all the information I've collected over the past 12 years with a database. People, are you guys seeing a running theme yet? I collected data and I analyzed it. So when I go fishing, especially if I'm in a tournament, if I'm using a Fancy Dan jerk bait and I lose it and that color is producing or that size is producing, am I fucked? No, because I bring more than one of them.
Yeah.
That is how simple this tip is. Bring more than one of that color. So I'm going to take my jerk bait box, for example. All right. So I'm always a proponent of floating Rapalas, right? Mm-hmm. I carry 2 colors of them and I carry 3 of each. You know why I carry 3 of each, Bobby Roast Beef?
Because you might lose them?
Correct. But in particular, I carry 3 of them because chain pickerel and northern pike are extremely fond of these lures.
Yeah.
And I throw them on mono. Because
so
they're
easy to lose.
Yeah, so I carry 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
With other jerk baits, I throw on I throw on fluoro. I feel a little more confident with that. So I generally I only bring 2 of each color with that, and I'm usually okay. I haven't gone as far as needing that third Rapala, but it's my comfort zone there.
Yeah.
Or the Sixth Sense jerk baits I carry. I haven't lost one and need to go to the second yet, but it's there. It's waiting for me.
Yeah.
And same thing for crankbaits. There's one particular color I carry 3 of. Again, the pike and pickerel seem very fond of it. All the other ones I carry 2 of. It's just easy enough. You always carry a backup. And if you lose one, make sure you replace it immediately. And like I said, I don't carry a lot of tackle. But the tackle that I am confident in, size, shape, and color, I have multiples of each.
Yeah.
With plastics, I mean, I've had days where there's, one particular plastic, I'll go through 15 or 20 of them. Again, keeping data on hand to know what you're catching fish on so that you can be prepared if you lose those, or if you're in a tournament and you're 4 hours in, you've already gone through 20 of them because some fish is tearing them to shreds, or you're throwing them into rock piles you can't get out of, or trees. You just want to have more. So keep your data. And then once you've analyzed your data to see what lures are working for you, carry multiples of them.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. This is not rocket science. And I guess the biggest mindset that I had to break out of, and I got into this a little bit with Paul on Bass and Brews this week.
Yep.
Was I don't worry about what someone else is catching fish on. There is no tournament tournament angler out there, period, that has won every tournament, right? You're going to lose some, or you're going to come into somewhere you don't place. But if you're going out there with the lures that you feel confident with, you can say, okay, I'm going to work with what I have.
Yep.
And let the cards fall where they may.
Yeah.
And that's that simple. Like if you're reacting to what every other angler is catching fish on and saying, well, now I need, a lure in a shape and a color that I never use, you're going down. You're
going down a rabbit hole that's going to end in
Yes.
just spending a lot of money that's not going to pay off.
Correct. So if I'm out, like I said, I think I told this story. We were a buddy of mine when we first started going out in his bass boat and tournaments. We had heard at the weigh-in that everybody caught fish drop shotting into beds with like a 2-inch or 3-inch curly tail grub with chartreuse on it.
Yep.
Do you think I honestly went out and bought 500 curly tail grubs just with different colors of chartreuse? No, I said tournaments like that are less likely that I'm going to win.
Yeah.
That's just the way it's going to be. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And I mean, especially it's compounded when you're talking about kayak angling. When you're fishing from a kayak, you have that much more limited space. It's one thing if you have the luxury of having all the storage on a 21-foot bass boat or something where you can keep I might throw this. I might need this in such and such. That's a different sort of situation. But when space is at a premium, you can't fill that space with stuff that doesn't produce.
Yeah, and even now when I go on bass boats, I just bring what I have because I know that anywhere I go, whether it's a kayak or a bass boat, I am confident with my small selection of lures.
And that's a good point too, because that will work like wherever you're going, regardless, And sometimes it pays. Sometimes it pays to use what you're using, but use this year I started using like a chartreuse dip for some stuff just to kind of modify things a little bit. If you want to give something a little bit of a different look based on what you're seeing, Yeah.
So I guess the bottom line for me with losing lures is carry enough that losing them, you're not going to lose time on the water. You're not going to lose the ability to hook into a fish that is only keyed in on one particular pattern, lure, whatever color.
Yeah.
Just carry enough of them. But unless you're rich enough to afford the entire contents of a Bass Pro Shops, I highly suggest you start tracking what you're catching fish with.
Yeah.
And make sure you have multiples of what you're catching fish with to start.
There is. I watched the video today, and I want to throw credit out where it's due. This was a Tyler's Real Fishing. He does a bunch of stuff with Strike King, and I know he freelances for a lot of different companies, producing videos and things like that. But he's got a pretty good channel with some good stuff. And there's a video that I happened to see today, and I think it was recently he posted this. And it was the whole style of this video was, so let's say you're trying to get somebody in your family or somebody, you know, or a friend into bass fishing for the first time. Like, what do they need? You know, and like, how do you put all this stuff together? And he basically was walking down the aisles of an academy saying, like, so you need something to put the baits in, you know, and you need, you know, some specific gear, you know, and stuff that he chose were like some plastics, hooks and weights to go with those plastics, spinner baits, you know, for a moving presentation, lipless cranks, and what was some of the other stuff that he had thrown in there too. He even said he was like, yeah, he's like the River to Sea Whopper Plopper or a popper for a topwater bait. Like, put something in there. It's like, you know, relatively easy to use. You can catch fish with them, you know, but think, and one thing he kept saying was think about the water that they're fishing. You know, think about, is it really clear? Are they fishing dirty water generally? Like stuff like that and stuff to put together. I would love to do one of these things, maybe as a collab with Old Glory. Maybe we could even do one with Three Bells that's aimed more toward kayak angling, or we could look at like maybe as a giveaway.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that'd be really awesome.
I stopped watching them, but I know Bassmaster.com had those, you know, beginners tackle box series. And I think a lot of times I see those, and this is probably why I stopped watching them, is a lot of pros get really lost in the weeds when because they're just so attuned. They're not thinking about a beginning angler who's not tournament fishing. They're thinking about a beginning tournament angler. Yeah. And there's a lot of assumptions sometimes that, oh, this guy can already throw, or this new angler can already throw a bait caster. Like,
true.
Who's taught this person how to use a bait caster?
Yeah.
Like a spinning combo is the way to start, I think, because number one, you can switch the handle.
Yep.
For the main reason that you don't have to flip the rod upside down. Yeah. And reel and look immediately notify everyone that you're a noob, but also it's easier to cast, and then you really can do everything with it. Is it ideal for everything? No, but you can do everything with it. You know what I mean? I would love to do that. Let's get Joe Brown on the horn.
Who the fuck is Joe Brown?
I don't know who he is. We'll just get him on the horn.
Find out who Joe Brown is, and we'll put this together.
Yeah.
I think I just something about that video just struck me. I was like, we should do something similar like this. And I think what we'll do is like for the giveaway. So I'm totally ripping this off of Tyler's Real Fishing, and I'm doing this because I think he has great content. That's why I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I think he has great stuff, and it's a great idea. But like, so what we'll do is when we do this contest, you're basically going to we'll do it on Instagram, and you're going to have to either tag your friend that you're going to introduce to fishing, to the person that you want to give this stuff to. Yeah, maybe we'll sweeten the deal. We'll throw in a little Old Glory gift card or something in, or some Jigs and Bigs merch for you as well.
Perfect. While we're talking about Instagram, I know this is the wrap up of Just a Tip, but we did forget to mention that we've got backing for these giveaways. People keep jumping on. I know I crossed 800 followers the other day, which is good, and have been holding there because they tend to go up and down, you know. How many are you away from 1,000?
Man, I have been juggling back and forth. I think the universe is messing with me because I have gone from being as few as 22 to now I'm 24. I lost two followers. So yeah, it comes with it. You know, that's the name of the game. We are up on Jigs and Bigs though. We're up to 12.8K right now. So we still have a little under 2,000 to go before we hit that, but that could very, very easily happen.
So 20 for the Bobby Roast Beef ish, 20-ish.
Yeah.
About 200 for the Sean the Fisherman, and 2K or so for the. Yeah, well, get on it, people. We want to give you shit.
God, and they will. They will. Yeah, they will. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. All right, so it's time. Are you ready?
Dude.
So ready.
Put back down. Put back down. Put back down.
Yep. That's where we're at right now. Now, I got to tell you, I got a Facebook message, I think it was from the Butcher, and he had indicated that some shenanigans had gone down at the water just last week, like recently. And he was like, I got a good submission for an FTG. Now, I do want to I have some other info to follow this up with. We're going to play a little snippet of audio, and then we'll kind of take it right from there. So sit tight. Here we go.
Hey guys, Butcher checking in here. I have a fuck this guy moment for you. I'm out fishing my local pond last night. Pretty dark, probably 8 o'clock. There's one single light on a light post. I'm out there fishing. Guy comes up, wants to fish right next to me. Pretty much stands on top of me. So already fuck this guy right there. I'm throwing my finesse setup with my swim bait rod next to me. He's admiring my swim bait rod. Says, that's a nice looking rod and lure. That's crazy. I go to cast my finesse rod. I look back. He's holding it, unhooking my lure, ready to cast it. I met this guy 35 seconds ago. Are you kidding me? Fuck that guy.
Indeed, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
That is some horse shit right there. So the follow-up is that Ryan did give us a part 2. We'll give you the gist about that, but we're not going to play it because the audio just went to garbage. It cuts out here and there, but essentially he had kind of, pulled the e-brake on this guy and was like, whoa, what are you doing, man? And set him straight, explaining like, you don't just grab somebody else's freaking gear and help yourself to it because they're not throwing it at that time. So, I mean, props to him for like being proactive and like straightening it out and not being like, or being overtly confrontational about it and like escalating it to a point where, all you're basically doing there is just making a mess of an already shitty situation. But yeah, so fuck that guy. That's bullshit. I would have lost my mind.
You never touch another man's rod.
And that is the key thing. All you got to do is just be like, really, dude? You're not even going to buy me dinner first?
I know.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Now you going to give me a reach around? What's up? Fucking douche.
You piece of shit.
Fuck that guy. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm on board with the butcher.
The butcher. Fuck that guy.
And just so you know, to get that second part of the story, I know we were planning on it anyways.
Yep.
Let's give everyone a preview. We just don't know when. We were planning on having the butcher on at some point anyways. And I said, well, if you give us the second part of the story, I'll make sure to send you the link to schedule. And I haven't sent him the link, but I'll get it to him. So sorry, butcher.
Oh, you told him to send us the second part of the story.
This was all engineered by one each Sean the Fisherman.
Okay. I gotcha.
Yep. And we got bad audio on it. Maybe, you know what?
That happens.
Fuck it. No butcher.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
We'll get him on. Oh, as a matter of fact, I want to say congratulations to Ryan the Butcher. Congratulations, because he has a nice, shiny, new Jigs and Bigs carpet decal on his new boat. And it looks great. He sent a picture of it, and it looks awesome. Looks great.
Awesome.
Yeah, pretty badass.
And there was some talk, too, because, you guys have a little, what should we call it, a business transaction coming up down the road with his wedding. You may or may not be emceeing it. And he said he had suggested that.
Oh, I am. The deposit's in. Like it's booked. April, we're going to party in Sturbridge.
Well, he had suggested that Sean the Fisherman should be on hand to announce the couple as Mr. and Mrs. the Butcher. And I said, you don't want your marriage to last very long, do you?
Well, and I think he even said, he's just like, yeah, she'd kill me if I did that. Maybe, Sean, what I'll do is I'll go back through the archives of Jigs and Bigs greatness that we're sitting on, and I'll take a sample and I'll make a little DJ drop that just goes, the butcher, and I'll use it when I'm going from song to song. I did something amazing at this wedding. I did Friday night, by the way.
Yeah.
I got it was not very 2021 of me. Not very 2019 of me. I did a battle of the sexes.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I said, because I feel like the ladies have a little bit of an advantage because there were far more ladies on the dance floor than the guys. I said, the guys can go first. And I played the Backstreet Boys. I want it that way. What I did not know is that all of the groomsmen had T-shirts on under their button-down shirts that had pictures of the groom. on them. And they took, it was almost as if we had rehearsed this, but it was completely raw and organic. And they take off their shirts and they're wearing these shirts. And the groom saw them, was like, oh my God. So they're doing this dance. One of the groomsmen like messed his knee up trying to do a walrus slide on the floor. And then there was,
What the fuck is a walrus slide?
it's just,
You just flop around going,
I'm just going to say it's kind of how it ended up. That's kind of how it ended up.
oh, my knee.
So then I go, and this was amazing though. I followed that up. I played the Spice Girls Wannabe, and all the girls lost their minds, and it was great, but it was not as well put together as the guys. But I said, okay, I'm going to give you guys one more to get yourselves together and work this out. And I played Baby One More Time from Britney Spears. And one of the bridesmaids' mothers was there, and she grabbed a chair and did this whole like routine. And I mean, it was something. It was really something. I was like, holy
intense.
cow. It was the butcher.
So what was this shirt with the bride or with the groom on it? Was it him in a compromising position of some sort?
Not anything like super compromising. I think he was wearing like, it was almost like a caricature, like his head on like a cartoony body with like a chain hanging around his neck that said something like whatever, like block letters or something like that. And he was like making some kind of hand signals or something like that. It was just something, man. Unbelievable.
I'm glad you didn't say, no, it was a picture of him from Vegas. We went out there last year and we went to the Mustang Ranch or the Bunny Ranch or whatever the hell it is. And yeah, we got pictures. That wouldn't have went well.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Unless it's a t-shirt.
Oh, true.
All right. Yeah.
It was so, yeah, anyway, but we're going to, I don't know. I was like, I haven't done one of those in a while. Battle of the Sexes. And it was because the management at the place had decided they wanted to wrap things up early. So I was like, well, let's really wear them out. Wear them out, and then I'll play that last song, and it'll be good. So
should have brought them over to the old corn pool. Let them throw some corn at each other. They would have worn each other out.
Yeah.
Run around the old hay maze.
Cornhole some drunks.
That too. Corn pool some drunks.
Corn pool. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I do have a couple other FTGs I just have to track down. I had some people that left messages on Facebook, stuff like that. I have to figure out how I can import those in so that I can utilize them. But we have that. If you guys have any FTG stories that you would like to share, just visit jigsandbigs.com. There's an orange button there that says leave us a voice message. That's a 60-second sound off button. You hit that sucker even just from your phone and you can just sound off about whatever. And it doesn't have to just be FTG too. If you want to just say hello, Bobby and Sean, you guys are a couple of dumb fucks. It doesn't matter to me. It's okay. You guys go ahead, leave a shout out for us. I can already see that Ellie is like feverishly going to jigsandbigs.com to leave like inappropriate messages, but
she's a patron. She leaves them here. It doesn't matter.
That's true. Yeah, she leaves them right here.
We should really underline that. As you just heard, Bobby has to go sorting through Facebook and other IM bullshit to get your messages that you have taken the time to leave. How about you do it the easy way and leave it on our website as a recording, and we can get it on right away instead of fucking you guys giving this guy more work. You got enough shit to do. What the fuck?
Oh my goodness.
Help us help you.
It's true. It is very, very true. Let's go ahead. We're going to take a quick break, guys. We have in this next segment, we got oh wait, no. Again, I'm doing this. I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting.
Gotta be in the form of a question.
What are tournament updates?
Wrong. It is marsupials.
It's a marsupial. What is a marsupial? Last strike for glory. I'm ready when you are, dude.
And hold on. Go ahead. We are in October, and that means Chronic Trips as soon as the fucking file loads. I guess I was not ready. Come on, file. Come on, load. How am I going to see the standings without the file? What is happening?
You can tell it's very late on a Sunday night, on a holiday weekend. And
on a holiday weekend. Here we go. Okay. All right. So this is as of, I don't know, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever the fuck. The 8th, I believe. Okay, so this is as of the 8th. There have been numerous fishies turned in. Usually when weekends come along.
Did you
I
say
wait till the end of the
numerous
weekend.
fishies?
Numerous fishies.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm 5. What's wrong with that?
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
I'm
numerous
loving
fishies.
life. I'm kicking it.
I said it. I meant it. So, big surprise. Ready? I'm just gonna blow everyone's mind right away. Jerry
What up,
House
Jerry?
is in first. Yeah, Jerry House is in first. Jerry Multi-House is in first place in the multi-species tournament.
Will knock me over with a feather.
Yep. So I'm gonna throw some scores out here. This is the people have put points up. Okay.
Yep.
Down at the bottom in 1, 2, 3, 4, 7th place. Myself with 7 points. Derek Artioli, who has actually tapped the saltwater quite a bit, has 8 points. Nate Shagnon, 11 points.
Nice, Nate.
Tim Jacks, 12 points. Loaded Potato himself, Andy, 12 points. Gravy Fishing in 2nd place with 14 points, and Jerry Multihouse with 17. Now, over the past 24 hours, I've actually gotten a couple messages. So, Hooked Up North, Josh Hubner decided to drop into the tournament, and then 2 hours later, promptly caught a trophy smallmouth bass. So things are going to change here. Andy got on a pike. There's been some big fish turned in, and Andy also broke 19 inches with a largemouth. But there's two 20-inch largemouth in there that I have yet to judge. So fish are rolling in, man. There's still a couple weeks left if you want to get in on this tournament. Fresh and saltwater runs the length of October. Please jump in just because saltwater is involved. Not everyone fishes saltwater. So we haven't seen, it always comes up every month. Like, does the saltwater fishing scare off some of the inland anglers? But we haven't seen, really a saltwater dominating performance that has taken one of these things yet. And it's been 2 years of it. Usually it's a freshwater fisherman that might go out and snag 1 or 2 species. And then they're winning on the backs of their freshwater haul. But don't be freaked out if you're seeing saltwater fishing in here, folks, because it hasn't really mattered, to be quite honest. So
don't
jump
be
on
salty
in.
about the salt.
Fuck. It was the laugh.
It was the laugh. It was a bit much.
Oh.
Oh. You're dancing.
You're dancing. Oh, you're making me blush. Oh.
Oh.
Sound like fucking a British Scooby-Doo. That's all I got, man. We're a week into this Chronic Trips thing. There's plenty of time to catch some fish. Jump in, have some fun with us, end the tournament season the right way with Chronic Trips. That's all I got.
I love it.
I love it too. It's definitely late on a holiday weekend.
It really is. Is that obvious?
Oh. Sorry, I didn't mean to kill you with laughter.
When you said a British fucking Scooby-Doo, all I could think was, all right. There we go. And then Scooby-Doo's going like, ruh-roh. Alrighty then.
Oh.
You guys don't even know what we're laughing about. What we're joking about is Sean does not use a premium account when he listens to Spotify, so he listens to commercials on Spotify. There is this commercial. It's Serena Williams, right?
Yeah, it's one of those Serena Williams direct TV commercials, but it's not one of the ones like that. I think there's a Wonder Woman mashup one that's been on like everything, but this one is, to my knowledge, has not been televised.
No.
And it's the mashup is Serena Williams with British ballroom, or no, it's a British TV drama. And she's talking with her co-star, a man from across the pond, about her dancing, and he compliments her, and she says, "Oh, you're making me blush." And his response is as creepy as, "Oh." I can't tell he's surprised or he's coming in his pants. I don't know what's happening, but
be a
it
little
could be
both.
either.
Oh.
So we're mocking that. And honestly, man, since I told you about that, I haven't heard it.
No.
It's that one. There's that one, and there's like 3 of them that keep floating around. I haven't heard the British one. I want to record it for you so you can laugh.
Yeah. Hooked Up North says that he's like, oh, we're confused about the holiday weekend. Is Columbus Day a big deal over there? It's less of a big deal now. Now it's officially on all the calendars. Now it's Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yeah, you're right. I'm old school and just used to saying it. I
Yeah,
apologize,
but I mean that, and I think
forgot.
that's I think the whole point is that we're old, and
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
sorry.
It's like a lot of that, like from the beginning, this has been a day recognized as a holiday for whatever reason, you know. I mean, but now, yeah, exactly. I don't know. Do you guys not have this as a holiday? This is like usually.
That's a national.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's a federal.
Yeah, that's
so.
a federal holiday. Hold
But
on.
it's not like a big deal where there's like parades and shit like that. Like at least not where we are. You know.
Well, let me tell you a story.
Oh,
Want to hear a story?
he says no, they don't have it off.
They don't, huh? Oh, look at that. Some states don't do it.
Really?
Look at that. I did not know that.
Huh.
Hold on a second. Let's see who celebrates this. We're learning shit today, Mr.
Thank you,
Rothstein.
Josh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the opening
All right.
of deer hunting. That makes more sense though. You're in Wisconsin. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
So it's observed in Alabama. It says no, Alaska does not. It's been renamed, so that's I believe Massachusetts as well.
Yeah.
Arizona, yes. Indigenous peoples. Oh, sorry. So Alaska renamed it but doesn't observe it. California, certain places do. Colorado does not. Colorado. All right, Colorado. We got a question for you here. Replaced by Cabrini Day, and there's a link on this, and I'm not going to check on it. I want you guys to tell me what the fuck Cabrini Day is. Connecticut, yes. Italian Heritage Day, okay. Delaware, no. DC, no. But DC says celebrated as Indigenous Peoples Day. Florida, no. Georgia, yes. Hawaii, no. Discovery Day is celebrated second Monday, October, not a legal holiday. Okay, good for you, Hawaii. Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, all yes, with Illinois going Indigenous.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, all no's. Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, all yeses, with Maine and Mass being Indigenous. Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, all no's. Wow, this is really neat. Well, whatever. I don't care. I'm not going to go through all 50 states.
Yeah. You get
So-
get the idea that it's
Well, what does
it's
Wisconsin
patchy.
do? Wisconsin, where are you at?
Wisconsin. where you
No,
at?
it's not a legal holiday.
Where
So
the
it's
fuck
state
you
by
at?
state. And honestly,
Yeah.
it looks like a pretty even split here. I
Yeah.
did not know that. I thought that was
I thought it was
nationwide.
federal. Yeah. No
Well,
shit.
back up. We're going to go back in time a little bit. I'm not going to say what year.
Yeah.
There was a time when I drank. There was a time I drank heavily. And when you got together with like-minded drinking people,
Yep.
things happened.
Yeah.
There's an event, and I'm not going to get into the just the debauchery that occurred on this weekend, but it was a Columbus Day weekend. And amongst my circle of friends, we still to this day call it the Columbus Day Massacre because things happen.
Oh God.
When you have a particular weekend that has its own name because of the amount of alcohol everyone consumed, that's not good. It's not good at all. So I'm not going to get into the details nor who was involved, but there was a massacre one Columbus Day and a lot of brain cells died.
It's a lot of free hooch.
That's all I got. There's reasons I don't drink anymore, man. Oh no, it wasn't free. We paid for it, and then we paid for it after it was done.
You paid for it twice. It's funny. Like I was just talking with my wife last night, and I was like, and a lot of our friends, we don't drink much, like to any kind of excess. Like we're the type where we appreciate a well-made cocktail. You know what I mean? Like a well-mixed cocktail or a cocktail that's got like premium ingredients. I mean, I'm good for like a drink or two, and that's about it. I really don't like to drink, like definitely not like I used to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I could never I mean, that, we'll get a little dark here, but I could never turn it off once I had one drink.
Yeah. There's some people
was
that are like
gone.
that. I was able to shut it down, and I could stop drinking for months and then, have a drink whenever, but for me, a lot of it was kind of like the excuse of just going out to blow off steam after work,
Yeah.
like at the end of the week, it'd be a crazy week. Oh my God. I mean, I worked in television at the time, during 9/11. You want to talk about blowing off some steam? Holy shit,
Yeah.
man. That was tough.
9/11, that was, no, that was prior to my first streak of sobriety.
Yeah.
So that was,
You
a
were
while ago,
probably
but,
just as friggin' faced as I was.
maybe a little more, because I was active duty at that time and I was packing bags.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
you know what I
Maybe
mean?
a little bit more.
We didn't know what was happening, but
Yeah.
no, I mean, just while we're on the topic, we're recording tonight, Sunday the 10th.
Yep.
I got 4 more days and I hit my 14-year anniversary. I haven't touched a drop.
14 years is huge, man. One of my good friends has been sober. Jesus, how many years has it been? Keith is quite a bit older than I am. And I'm not saying that to be funny. Like he's a veteran DJ. Like he's been around forever, and he's a game show host, wicked talented guy. And he's one of these guys that I roll with in this little like wolf pack of colleagues when we do these trade shows in Vegas and Atlantic City and stuff. And I never put together. I was like, oh yeah, Keith doesn't drink at all. But yeah, and he's like, you get to a certain point when it's like you have that many years, and it's like, wow, it's intense,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you, dude. That's an accomplishment. It's a big accomplishment.
I mean, look, like stuff happened during those years where,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm obviously not proud of a lot of shit, just drinking, you wake up ashamed of shit you did or whatever. But
Yeah, but if you never killed a hooker in a Vegas hotel, I think generally you're okay. Got real
so
quiet.
anyways,
Yeah.
what I was getting at was I never killed a hooker. Not in Vegas anyways. I'm sorry. So, so what I do now is like every now and again, somebody will be going through this shit.
Yep.
And I'm always an open book. Like, here's what I did. Like, here's how I went about it. But I mean, what I've really come to find out is like, there's really, when someone self-identifies as an alcoholic, there's 2 ways they're generally getting there. And let me really say generally, either they're like a party or social drinker like I was.
Yep.
Or this is a kind I regard as a lot more dangerous, the kind that drinks alone.
Oh yeah.
Those are the ones that like you have to sit down and say, you're not drinking out with everybody else. It's not a social thing. Like you need to figure out what's going on in your head because you're doing it while you're alone. And that I honestly think that's extremely dangerous, but that's just some wisdom. Take that for what you will. If you're having problems with your drinking, obviously go to AA. Not you. I mean, the listening audience. Alcoholics Anonymous is a great resource. Any mental health professional will tell you to do that. I'm no exception. It may work for you, may not, but you've got to try it and at least listen to what they have to say. You know what I mean? That's my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And seriously, find anything you can do. For me, it was fishing, to not pick up a bottle. And that's when I quit drinking on this stint, that's when I upped my game. That's when I said, I've been fucking around too long. Let's see what I can do on the water.
I'm going to put my eggs in this basket instead.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Also, this one coincided with my kids. So like my kids have never seen me take a drink, and that's my goal for life. Will it happen? I hope so.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to say never. You know what I mean? Fucking not going to box myself into that, but yeah, so far they haven't,
Good. That's awesome. Nice.
So yeah, there we go.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with the wrap-up of this show right after this. Jigs and Bigs is proud to announce that we're being supported by Three Bells Outfitters. Located in Smith Cove on the Niantic River, TBO is Connecticut's premier paddle sports retailer. They're a full-service shop specializing in kayaks and paddleboards for everything from recreation to tournament fishing. Three Bells is an authorized dealer of Hobie, Jackson, Feel Free, Native, and Bonafide kayaks, as well as many paddleboard brands. Not sure of what kind of SUP or kayak you want? TBO offers free demos of all all brands. Want to go for an extended test drive? They have a full-service rental facility on site. Three Bells also offers a complete rigging service for your kayak with such brands as Yak Attack, Yak Gear, Burley Pro, Yak Power, Torqeedo, and more. The sky is the limit. You can visit Three Bells Outfitters in person or online at threebellsoutfitters.com. They ship anywhere in the lower 48 states or order online and pick up at the store. Can't make it to the store to pick up your kayak or worried the freight company might damage your purchase? Three Bells Outfitters offers a white glove delivery of kayaks within a 225-mile radius of their store at a rate less than typical freight carriers. They will deliver your kayak, set it up, and answer any questions you may have. Be sure to follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget to tell them Jigs and Biggs sent you. Three Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. Yep, that's going to do it, guys, for this week's edition of Jigs and Biggs. Sometimes this show has some spots in it, some elements that people can really relate to, and I think this is one of those shows, especially when we're talking about things like losing baits, man. Everybody's been there. It doesn't matter. It's like backlashing, it's like it's even more common than backlashing, actually, because everybody can lose baits. If you don't use bait casting gear, you're probably not going to understand that plight. But with that said, this episode did definitely have some good stuff in there. Like, Sean and I were saying in the break that this show took a little bit of a turn, but I think that's what makes this show so great is that it's like a windy road of topics. We just kind of go from point A to point Q, and we take whatever, we bump into other letters on the way, and I like that. Point A to point Q.
Our path was a handful of shorn pubic hair.
Yeah.
Just thrown on the ground.
Essentially. I recently changed my the beard product that I'm using, the scent. I'm still using the Live Bearded brand oils, conditioners, and shampoo. But I changed the scent from Gunslinger to American. And my wife says she thinks that it's like kind of peppery. And I don't get
Peppery,
that from
huh?
it. Yeah, I don't get that
Peppery,
from
like burning her eyes like pepper spray, or
yeah, it's like bear mace, Sean.
bear mace.
No, yeah, I think she means more like it smells like cracked black pepper. Like that, which
okay.
I don't get that at all from it, but she's got like a superhero nose. It's like weird.
Bobby roast peppercorn now?
Bobby roast peppercorn. I'm not one to shy away from. You remember when we were in Champlain, I was using that rainbow pepper.
Yeah,
that grounded. That was good. You got a little bit of a variety, and it was a little something.
Maybe some of that's still stuck in your beard from that. You never know.
Maybe it is.
And by the way, props for that segue of, we took a path like a handful of shorn pubic hair, and then you just
going into beard cleaning.
Hey,
yeah,
I changed my beard shit.
Well, that's what I do. That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Professional.
We keep it freaking real, man.
We do.
We keep it freaking real. So we've got giveaways coming soon. Remember, we got custom handmade baits that are coming from Derek Artioli. We have those are going to be organized and put together on their own separate thing. I think that's going to be a listener one. We're going to do this as a listener one. Let me construct a way to kind of do this and make it work. So it'll be a listener thing. Maybe we'll do it on the website on Jigs and Biggs. Register.
I like it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that'd be great if we can work that out. So we have that coming. That's one giveaway that we have going on. We are in the process of working on some Jigs and Biggs live stuff. This is great for you guys because we're going to have some games. We're going to be giving away some prizes, and it's going to be fun and entertaining. It'll be even better, actually, it'll be even more engaging than if you were in our group of patrons, the Jig Heads. It'll be even more engaging than being a Jig Head. You'll love it. It'll be a whole lot of fun. So that stuff's going to come locally, but eventually we're hoping to kind of branch out and start doing more with it. What else do we have coming up on tap? Our giveaways, obviously, on Instagram. Those are huge.
Instagram giveaways. We're just waiting for numbers, and we got stuff to give people, or other, like the collaborating companies have stuff to give people. And thanks to them again, we'll go ahead and mention them. So that's Stretching Lines, Hookset Hoodlums, Old Glory Outdoors, Three Bells Outfitters, and Naqua Power. Yeah, Naqua, all things power, all things small, non-foot breaking power.
Yes, no feet broken here.
You will not break your feet with their shit.
I love my Naqua battery. Seriously, I love that thing. And this Saturday I went out and I fully rigged the freaking hell out of that kayak. Like I went out with so much stuff just to, cause I'm still like in that honeymoon phase where I'm trying to like get the layout. And I was like, no, we're going to go all out. We're going to go and we're going to really like try this and see what's up. I'm to be perfectly honest, I may look into adding more rod storage behind me, because as opposed to my previous boat, I have zero problems reaching behind myself to grab, either a tackle box or a bag. I had a money bag of soft plastics and other stuff in there too. And I was like, I got some drop shot baits in here. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna throw it in the back. No problem grabbing that. So very, very cool. And I like traveling with the rods in that horizontal setting, packing them away. But if I need quick access to them, I think I want to throw a couple rod holders up so I can have them in a position where I can just grab them quick, and switch in between quickly.
Well, let me know. I got a couple spares. You're just welcome to grab them.
Yeah, well, that's actually a really good idea. Yeah, if they're as easy as mounting on the gear track, that'll be perfect.
Oh, yeah, they all got the gear track mounts. I don't fuck around anymore.
I fucking love gear track mounts.
Yeah.
God damn it.
All these things that have popped up with kayaks within the past 5 years, man. The first few kayaks were so rough that were made for either fishing, and they tried, but things evolved. Mm-hmm. And we're in a golden age. So.
We are. We're in a really, really good spot. You're goddamn right.
Yes.
Well,
all right.
You have anything else for these fine folks that are listening?
No, I want to go to bed.
Yeah, I hear you. I want to go to bed too. I'm tired. I got a long day tomorrow, haggling over the price of vehicles.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. Folks. You guys have yourselves a good one. If remember, we're only 10 days into the month of October. That's as the date that we're recording this right now. By the time you hear this, we'll be 12 days in. You guys, if you haven't entered the Chronic Trips tournament and you want to try to get one of these multi-species tournaments in now, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and sign in. Go and download the Fishing Chaos app. Just search Chronic Trips. You'll track it down right there. And then this way, you're ready to go for the next Jigs and Bigs listeners tournaments as well. We've got good stuff coming up in the future regarding a lot of fun there. We're gonna get cute with some of these tournaments as we continue to go forward. So very, very excited about that. We're also planning on some expo appearances. Very, very interested in doing that stuff too. So we're hoping to rub some elbows and meet some listeners and hopefully in the process of doing so, create more listeners by having people, check out the show. So if you could do us a favor and suggest our podcast to the fishermen that in your life, if there's anybody with some angling abilities that you think might enjoy this program, go ahead and share it with them. And of course, you can always leave us a review over at Apple Podcasts. That is the primary source where folks listen to our show. Leave us a review, some constructive criticism. It's all good. Just let us know what you think. Ultimately, that's what really matters. And any feedback over there is definitely very, very helpful. So on behalf of myself and Sean the Fisherman, you guys get out there and catch some fish. We will see you in 7 days. Tight line.